carry on Dr. King's legacy. If you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Those words from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As tomorrow we celebrate the federal holiday in his honor. He was a reverend, a civil rights leader, a husband, and a father. Dr. King would be 97 years old today. And I am joined by Dr. King's son, Martin Luther King III, along with his wife, Andrea Waters King. Together, they lead the Drum Major Institute, an organization founded to carry on Dr. King's legacy. Martin and Andrea, thank you so much for joining us today. We absolutely appreciate it. Martin, I have to ask you, when you look at the current state of this country, even the stories you were hearing leading up to this, what do you think that your father would say?
Well, I think, number one, had my father lived, we would be in a different place than we are in our nation today. But one of the quotes that comes to mind is, how do we hew out of a mountain of despair a stone of hope? How do we bring the nation together? We are operating, it feels like, at least from the leadership perspective, not in the most civil fashion. We have lost the decorum of civility. Civility must be brought back to the landscape. It doesn't mean we will agree on every issue. We're not a monolithic group of people. We come from all kind of different backgrounds. But Dad's message perhaps is even more prevalent today than it was even probably a little bit after his lifetime, because of the divisions. And we are much better as a nation than the behavior that's being exhibited. And I think that part of our job is to challenge us to embrace. It's not just nonviolence. That's a critical part of what we believe. But it really is, how do we become the best of the United States of America to provide leadership around the world? We're not exhibiting that at this point at all.
People come to us and their teeth are so bad that they all need to be extracted. They all need to be taken out, and they need to get brand new teeth.
It's so interesting that you started that saying, had your father lived. A very important point to make. Martin, right now, the future of the Voting Rights Act is in the hands of the Supreme Court. They'll specifically look at Section 2, which prohibits discriminatory voting practices on the basis of race, and they'll decide whether that's constitutional. Your father said a voteless people is a powerless people. What is your take on this?
Well, this is such a critical piece of has been a critical piece of legislation. It is very unfortunate that the court appears to be poised to decimate it. And when you look at the bedrock of what was one of the most important initiatives that Dad and his team and many others worked for, was the Voting Rights Act. And the fact that John Lewis himself was able to write a piece of legislation that would make voting fair and just for all, and yet the United States Congress chooses not to pass that legislation. We are in dire straits at this moment. I hope that the Supreme Court is looking at it in a different way than what we've seen reported. And I think that we're going to have to keep up just the momentum of saying how precious this right is. Particularly when we're getting ready to observe the 250th anniversary of this nation and its history. And yet it feels like that portion is trying to go backward. We're not where we need to be. But what I know is Dad and his team, Mom and her team showed us that it only takes a few good human beings to bring about change.
And I know that you were interviewed for a really great piece that I read in the New York Times this morning, where you said the vote is the most powerful nonviolent tool that citizens have at their disposal. Andrea, I want to bring you in. Under the Trump administration, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is urging white men to file discrimination claims. Just this week, President Trump said civil rights protections have led to discrimination against white people. What do you think about that?
Well, as someone who spent the early part of her career literally monitoring extreme far-right groups and hate groups such as the Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, and skinheads, it's very alarming to see the very things that we were organizing and researching in the 90s actually become sound bites in 2026. And it is particularly alarming to hear the very same type of language coming from the highest office in our land from the Oval Office. Racism is still racism. Rebranded racism is racism.
And Martin, your father famously won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. This year's winner was Venezuelan opposition leader Marina Machado. She gave her prize to President Trump this week after he repeatedly said he deserved it. What's your reaction to that?
넣을게. 넣는다. 어째서 이런 꿈을?
왠지 재구나 100만 팔로워를 보유했다는 모델 전공.
괜찮아요?
관습적인 기준에서 잘생기긴 했군. 잡아.
응?
잡아. 가쁜 퀴즈.
이렇게?
수화줄래?
나도 모르게 주제 넘었나 보다.
막민아 잠깐만! 결국 고장나고 말았다.
최현삼.
덕분에 허술해진 방화벽.
Solicitations inside the terminal building are prohibited. Please use only the services and products offered by the airport. Due to increased TSA security measures, only ticketed passengers are permitted beyond the security checkpoint. Thank you for your cooperation.